I understand R-Truth is 53 years old. You can't keep people forever. But the fact is, R-Truth was not somebody who was taking opportunities from younger talents. In fact, he was actually somebody who was being involved for the most part with younger talents and really helping them while being a really entertaining part of WWE television, a part which fans clearly loved. But worse than all of this is what's really annoying me about all these recent releases and everything. WWE, TKO are constantly touting record breaking profits. They've just announced today a new deal with what do they call Slim Jims, where the Slim Jim logo will now be on all WWE's
Singular,
foldable
just Slim Jim.
tables. Slim Jim, whatever, right? It's going to be on all their foldable tables from here on out. And they're announcing all these deals. They're making all this money, yet they're releasing people after people. And they're increasing ticket prices for the fans nearly every single event, nearly every single week. On a week-to-week basis, they're increasing the prices. It's just ridiculous to me. R-Truth, I mean, they could have given him another deal. He deserved another deal. It didn't have to be a long-term deal. But right now, he's an entertaining part of the product. And getting rid of him, it makes little to no sense. I mean, hell, this is somebody who, in my opinion, should be working backstage helping wrestlers long-term. So I think it's just completely insane to me. Clark, what is your thoughts on it?
I'm going to do my best to provide some levity here and honor R-Truth in the only way possible. Did we consider that R-Truth was released, but not Ron Killings? Is Little Jimmy still signed? Is it possible? There's all kinds of factors that play here. Did the shirts sell out too quickly? Maybe he was stepping on John Cena's toes. You know, the things that you can't see behind the scenes, Ben. I mean, honestly, dude, this is tragic. I don't know what to do with this other than what would Truth himself do. And that's have fun with it. He grew up with a childhood hero, John Cena, that he looked up to. Hustle, loyalty, and respect. And we saw hustle from Truth over the last few months. We saw no loyalty from the WWE over the last few months. But I, Clark Taylor, respect R-Truth and every single thing he's accomplished in this industry. We forget that he was Ron Killings in TNA. We forget that he was K-Quick. We forget the level of in-ring work and athleticism that he had in his prime. He's not just a normal veteran. He's a veteran that evolved, and it gave him staying power. And I think that, not to get all of a sudden serious here, is the precipice of the problem. R-Truth evolved in the only way he possibly could to have staying power till the age of 53, as Ben mentioned. And then we decided to get rid of him when he fills a gap that we didn't know existed. The role he plays in the locker room, we didn't know was even a full option. R-Truth as a comedy character has had nearly a third career. If you think about how long he's been around, he's had nearly a third career, and for it to end just with contract expiration is heartbreaking, and it's bogus.
Yeah. It absolutely is, Clark. You're completely right there. I mean, we've got a couple of comments. Shad saying to have your last match against JC Mateo as well. I mean, that is actually one of the most baffling things here. They've gotten rid of R-Truth, somebody who is a star, somebody who we know works on the product, and they brought in somebody who's 9 years younger than him. I mean, that's, and I'd say 9 years younger than him. He's nearly, 43, 44 years old, JC Mateo, Jeff Cobb. And I like Jeff Cobb, but I don't think he's going to get over in this position he's brought in to do. I think I can't get my head around it, to be honest with you. And the other factor as well is if I was WWE, genuinely what I would do tonight is I'd offer him a new contract, R-Truth, and turn this into a storyline now. I'd, for the next few weeks, have R-Truth turn up and they'd be like, hey, Truth, you don't work here anymore. What is this? This is Tuesday Night SmackDown. What are you on about? No, it's Monday Night Raw, but you don't work there either. And then, every week it just continues until he eventually gets back into the company. It'll be entertaining TV, and bang, you can fix this issue. But Sean Ellis is saying maybe he's under a Legends contract. Right now, he is completely gone. Completely gone. And that really,
Fernando
really
Dias' comment
sucks.
got me here. I'm sorry. Poor little Jimmy. What's he going to do right now? I know.
Honestly, it's a
My
joke.
thoughts are with little Jimmy.
Josh, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, my thoughts are the same as everybody else's, that this sucks. This is big news. This wasn't just covered by professional wrestling news outlets, Fox News, People.com, Yahoo Sports, they were all covering this. This is significant news in professional wrestling right now. R-Truth is, in my opinion, on the Mount Rushmore of being over in professional wrestling in terms of fan interaction, crowd cheering or booing. R-Truth has been consistently over in the last 15 years. Whether the crowd saying what's up or booing him for throwing soda in a fan's face or buying little Jimmy shirts. In my opinion, R-Truth is the most entertaining character WWE has ever had. And not in terms of like in-ring or presence, just in terms of entertainment as a whole. He is the most entertaining character WWE has ever had. And that's my opinion. And yeah, Ben, to your point too, like WWE is making more money. They have a new deal with Slim Jim. They're racking in more money than ever. These aren't budget cuts. We've seen WWE budget cuts where they release people because they need to figure out their money issues. This is not that. This is, I don't even know why he's released. I get it. He's old. He's not a good wrestler anymore, but he's entertainment at its finest. And TKO took over while WWE was at its hottest, and now as a public image, WWE is on that downside. I feel like WWE kind of sold out to the corporate world, and the fans are letting them know what they think about it, and it's not good. But in terms of what's next for Truth, I will say, I think The Miz said this in his tweet. He's only gonna be unemployed for as long as he chooses. AEW, TNA, any independent scene, I'm sure they would love to get him involved in any way possible. And this is if they don't go with the route that you said, Ben, which I actually really love, that idea of turning this into a storyline and giving him a contract after seeing, we've seen WWE before respond to the fans. We saw it during Roman Reigns versus The Rock, and then they put Cody back in the image. We've seen it before. We've seen them respond to the fans. So it is possible that they could sign R-Truth to another contract, today or tomorrow. Not sure how likely that is. But, I mean, look, whether he wants to take his deserved retirement or he wants to move into something fresh, go to AEW, go to TNA, the fans are going to support it, no doubt. I'm going to support it. After looking back on the last few weeks, it's kind of obvious. It makes sense now that this was WWE's plan. He went out facing his hero, John Cena, on a cable televised PLE. There's not many better ways to go out, I will say that. However, it is weird that they knew this was his last match, and then they gave it against JC Mateo in a 2-minute squash match on SmackDown. It's one thing to give him a match on SmackDown, cool, whatever, it's your last match. Triple H knew that, I'm sure, and it was a squash match against JC Mateo. At least make his name Jeff Cobb if it's going to be a squash match. But,
Yeah.
Whatever Truth decides to do, I'm sure everybody will support him, and, thank you for all the years of entertainment, Truth. And honestly, I hope they go with what you said, Ben, and make that a storyline, because that's a great idea.
I love the idea of Truth Maverick. I think Ben was spot on with that.
What do you want Drake Maverick did? But it's not even that. I think it would work so well for Truth's character. And I mean, surely that's just the no-brainer move from WWE at this point to get everybody off their back. Because you mentioned it, Josh. Clark, both of us have spoken on this podcast at length over the past year or two that in wrestling, momentum changes. It swung in the favor of AEW, then swung in the favor of WWE, and now it looks like it's swinging the other way once again, and it will swing back. But WWE need to try and stop it from swinging before it does swing that way. And I think maybe bringing back Truth and having a brilliant Money in the Bank would be how to do that. But right now, to your point, corporate greed is the phrase being chucked around in our comments, and it's brutal.